This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
Breaking news in Redondo Beach, where there is a possible hit-and-run situation. I'm Rutabaga Shabazi in for Colleen Sullivan.
Now, David Ono, there you see it live overhead. Air 7, a huge contingent of emergency personnel on the scene. Let's go to Bill Thomas in Air 7 HD for the details. Bill?
David, right on top of Avenue I at Catalina, this is in Redondo Beach. There's an LADOT commuter express bus, and on the left side of the bus, you see that blue tarp. Now, this is not confirmed that a pedestrian was struck and killed, but as a general rule, when we see a pedestrian hit by a bus, you'll see the blue tarp come out and the investigation ongoing. Waiting for confirmation from the fire department or Redondo Beach police officers to confirm that a pedestrian was struck and killed, but that's what it's looking like right now. You can see all the fire and police response. A number of folks on the sidewalk as well, checking everything out. If you try to get into this area right now, Avenue I near Catalina, you will be routed around that investigation. Reporting live from Air 7 HD, I'm Bill Thomas, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Bill, we'll check back to you. In the meantime, a discrimination lawsuit is filed by two lesbian basketball players at Pepperdine University. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda spoke with the two students. He has more on their accusations and the university's response.
Layana White and her teammate Haley Videkis are a gay couple. They were also teammates on the Pepperdine basketball team. They say they were harassed for being in a relationship.
As soon as the coaching staff had suspicion that Haley and I might be lesbians, I started being treated differently.
I was being targeted, and some of the treatment I thought was just completely unfair.
They say they both received full scholarships and were excited to play at Pepperdine, but they say their coach did not want them here. Videkis says she was stunned at what the coach said.
Lesbianism isn't tolerated here. Lesbianism is real and a big problem in women's basketball. And I directly remember the date of that meeting because it just stood out to me that someone could use that word in such a derogatory way.
The two filed a lawsuit for discrimination, saying the school and the coach violated their privacy. Pepperdine is a private religious school, and on its website it says it has Christian values that are part of all aspects of student life and administrative policy. In a statement, the school said, "We take allegations of this kind, and they're only allegations, very seriously. We conducted an immediate and thorough investigation and found no evidence to support these claims, and we look forward to demonstrating the truth of the matter in court. The university remains committed to a diverse and inclusive environment."
I'm not against any religious beliefs. I just don't believe people should be treated the way we are treated.
And there will be a protest tomorrow here at the school. The organizer is Layana White's brother, who says there should be no discrimination here on campus. Reporting from Malibu, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Police are investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting in Chino this evening. It started as a bank robbery in Corona. The suspect then led police on a pursuit that ended at Pine and Euclid Avenue in Chino. Police shot and killed the suspect. None of the officers were injured.
A death investigation is underway in Long Beach. A man's body was found in the river near West 25th Street and DeForest. The coroner arrived on scene. At this point, the cause of death has not been determined. If the coroner suspects foul play, homicide detectives will be called in to investigate. A dramatic rescue in the San Gabriel Valley. A tree trimmer had to be pulled from a palm tree. Firefighters rescued the man who was stuck 75 feet up a palm tree. This was on West Atara Street in Monrovia. It took crews about half an hour to free the man from the tree. Once on the ground, he was taken to a local hospital to be checked out.
There are now 99 confirmed cases of measles in California and 11 counties. That includes 25 cases in Los Angeles County and 31 in Orange County. It's the largest measles outbreak in the state in 15 years. LA County's top health official today had this urgent message for parents about the safety of measles vaccinations.
There have been many scientific studies since that have completely shown that there is no association between autism and vaccinations. Getting vaccinated protects not only the individual receiving the vaccine, but reduces the chance that it can spread to others.
Dr. Gunzenhauser says it could take weeks or months to contain the current measles outbreak.
One of the local children sick with the measles is a baby who's cared for at Santa Monica High School's Infant Toddler Center. Now the center has adopted strict new vaccination rules. Eyewitness News specialist Denise Sedor tells us what's being done to stop the spread of this dangerous disease.
If you don't want to immunize your child, I feel like you should not be in the public schools. Terse words from a parent who feels the school district can't do enough after a 1-year-old was diagnosed with measles at Santa Monica High School's employee daycare center. For now, it remains closed. But when it opens, district officials are asking for more than just vaccination records. They're asking toddlers to have blood tests done to check their immunity before they can return to the center.
I don't think it hurts to crack down on it and get tougher. I think every kid should be immunized. I really do.
14 babies believed to be exposed to the infected infant are being asked to remain at home and not be in public for the next 3 weeks. And the LA County Department of Public Health is asking 13 parents of kids in the daycare who are also teachers in the school district to have a blood test done before returning to work. It's a bit disconcerting, but one parent who didn't want to be identified hopes this incident will show parents how important vaccinations are.
It's almost a blessing in disguise because this has been going on in Santa Monica for a long time, and there's a high rate of unimmunized kids in the school district.
The district is also reminding parents that all students should have the required 2 doses of the MMR vaccine.
One of them is, one of them isn't.
Is there a reason?
No, I think this is just all of a sudden. One of them, they're going in soon, you know. I think it's necessary to get vaccinated.
Star Perez admits when her kids were young, she wasn't keen on vaccinations. Now, after this recent outbreak, she's planning to make sure both her kids are immunized. State health code states unvaccinated students may be subject to exclusion from school based on measles exposure. District officials say if a child is unvaccinated, they should get vaccinated now. And if they don't have insurance, they can get free vaccines through the Venice Family Clinic or through Public Health. In Santa Monica, Denise Tudor, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Some California lawmakers are reconsidering the state's policy on vaccine exemptions. They introduced legislation today that would prevent parents from opting out of vaccinating their children because of personal beliefs. It would apply to all children attending public and private schools. The bill would still allow exemptions for religious beliefs. Lawmakers say some communities already have non-vaccinated rates of 15%, exceeding what's recommended by the CDC.
A flurry of new developments today in the fallout from the ISIS video showing one of the terror group's captives being burned alive. There has been swift retaliation for the gruesome death of a Jordanian pilot captured during a coalition air raid over Syria. While Jordanians mourn, there's an international outpouring of support for that country and worldwide condemnation for ISIS as world leaders now debate where to go from here in the war with ISIS.
On the streets of Amman, protests and prayers for Jordanian pilot Moaz al-Qasasbeh, a day after ISIS released a video of the 26-year-old being burned alive in a cage. King Abdullah of Jordan cutting short his visit to Washington and holding a top-level meeting with senior military staff, voicing his outrage and wasting no time giving personal orders to hang 2 prisoners linked to al-Qaeda, including this woman sentenced to death in 2006 for her role in a suicide bombing that killed dozens of people. ISIS had previously demanded her release as part of a prisoner exchange. A Jordanian government spokesman denied rumors of the possible use of Jordanian ground troops to confront ISIS fighters.
We are talking about a collaborative effort between coalition members in order to intensify our effort.
Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Senator John McCain calling for a different strategy.
We need to have more American boots on the ground.
President Obama's nomination to be the next Defense Secretary, Ash Carter, testified before the Senate Armed Services Committee during his confirmation hearing on Capitol Hill today. He also gave his input on taking back territory from ISIS.
It's important to get that territory back soon because you don't want them to settle in and you don't want the population to settle into having ISIL rule them in their barbaric way.
The U.S. has carried out some 2,000 airstrikes against ISIS. Military officials saying the strategy will continue. The leaders of Israel and Palestine also both condemned the brutal murder, as well as Japan's prime minister, whose government had tried to free 2 Japanese hostages before they were beheaded by ISIS last month.
Tonight, we are hearing a 911 call from the fatal hit-and-run involving Suge Knight. In the audio obtained by the New York Daily News, the caller describes what happened.
This car ran over 2 guys that were fighting, and then he just pulled back and pushed forward and run them over. 2 guys are laying down. 142nd, man. What city are you in? Compton, I think. I just passed by. They were fighting in the still there? Yes. We tried to follow the truck when we took pictures.
Knight was taken to the hospital yesterday for a medical emergency after pleading not guilty to murder and attempted murder. He is still in the hospital tonight. Prop 47, approved by California voters in November, allows certain drug and property convictions to be reduced from felonies to misdemeanors. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia talked with a woman who hopes it will give herself and her kids a second chance at life.
It's closing completely a chapter of my past.
Amy Sunica holds in her hands the paperwork she hopes will change her life. She's taking advantage of a new state law, Proposition 47. It allows certain felony drug and theft convictions to be reduced to misdemeanors. Amy has a felony drug and theft conviction on her record. The single mother of 6 says she's no longer the troubled drug-addicted teen that got into trouble.
My past was my past. I did some things that were wrong, and it's not who I am anymore. I look forward to being a soccer mom and, working in the medical field and just, being a citizen.
While working at Homeboy Industries, Amy went to school to become a certified medical assistant. But with her felony convictions, she says it's hard to get a job in the medical field. That's why she's in line with her attorney to file her Prop 47 petition to have those past felony convictions reduced to misdemeanors.
It's estimated that just over 300,000 people here in Southern California are eligible for the Prop 47 program. If you think you are, well, here's what you need to do.
It's very simple to file a Proposition 47 petition. Folks can just go to the website of the county court where they were sentenced. They do need to file the petition at the actual courthouse where they were sentenced.
And you don't need an attorney to do this. Now that Amy has filed her paperwork, she says she'll be notified in a few weeks on the judge's ruling.
And my kids are proud to say that I'm their mom, So I think I've come a very long way.
She's hoping the judge will see it that way too. Reporting from Compton, Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
It's dramatic crash video going viral around the world.
A commuter plane in Taiwan falls from the sky. Will this video help investigators figure out what caused the deadly crash?
Plus, here in Southern California, a life or death rescue at a freeway. How 2 sailors saved the day.
Wow, another really warm day across Southern California. More record temperatures to tell you about. And rain, yeah, it's back in the 7-day. Stick around.
Johnny Depp, real-life new role on George Pinocchio, what he did today in tonight's Hollywood Wrap. Plus, the food, the flowers, the photos.
Trans-Asia Flight
What's in store for this
We're getting new details on that deadly plane crash in Taiwan. 25 people were killed when a TransAsia flight crashed into a river. It's the second deadly crash for the airline in less than a year. ABC's John Ehrlichman has the latest, including the very dramatic video of the crash.
These are the last seconds of TransAsia Flight 235 clipping a bridge before crashing into a river. This dashcam video provided by TVBS catching the plane dipping its left wing during the deadly descent. Rescue workers used inflatable boats to pull survivors to safety. Among the 58 passengers were 4 children. According to officials, the plane joined TransAsia's fleet in September and went through a safety check January 26th. Authorities say the flight was headed to nearby islands and initially gained altitude but not speed, and crashed less than 3 minutes after liftoff. The pilot quickly radioing he'd lost an engine.
An airliner of any size is a metallic eggshell. When used as designed, it's very strong, but you smack a bridge with it, it's going to come apart and do terrible damage to anybody who is in the back portion of the airplane.
This is the second deadly crash for TransAsia in less than a year. The company's CEO apologizing at a press conference, the plane's black box now recovered.
As for the pilot, officials say he had more than 4,400 hours of flying experience. The co-pilot, more than 6,000 hours. John Ehrlichman, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Sailors to the rescue early this morning in Lemon Grove near San Diego. 2 sailors pulled their Navy supervisor from his car after it hit a freeway center divider and spun onto the right shoulder. The rescue came just seconds before the car burst into flames. The driver suffered minor injuries. The sailors say they happened to be behind their boss because they missed their turn.
Wow. Well, it looks like we might have finally some rain in the forecast, Jonathan.
A little bit.
Maybe.
Chances there, probably to the north. But, you know, if it's not here in Southern California, at least portions of the state are expected to see rain. And since everybody in California is under some level of drought, it's good. It's good. We take rain, even though it's not right over us, maybe in the 7-day, you know, just to the north or right around the northern counties, we'll take it. And right now, there's some rain across the country in the southeast U.S., some snow across the northeast. For us, it is DRY as usual. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be staying that way. In fact, if we have a chance of rain, which we do, I'm going to zoom on and you can see that we are pretty much clear outside tonight with some showers up in the northern part of California. It would be to the northern portions of our area. So look for more of this, at least for the next few days before we even start thinking about those rain chances. How about that, Malibu? Thank you for this sunset. Fantastic. Another good one out of Malibu for today. Highs were record-breaking again. Palmdale and Lancaster 2 days in a row. Lancaster breaking records. 76 is what you hit today. 80s in Woodland Hills, 80s in San Bernardino, Pasadena 78, Simi Valley 77. It was a warm one today. 60 in Long Beach right now, a nice evening, comfortable, mild, pleasant. 58 Oxnard. Let's head down the coast. Santa Monica's at 59. Long Beach, good evening. It is 60. 62, as we just saw, 62 in Santa Ana, and 60 San Clemente, 71 still Palm Springs. So another very nice evening ahead. Tomorrow will be pretty close to what you saw today. Let's check out what's happening on the big scope. We've got that ridge of high pressure we've been talking about. Now around it, we are seeing some of those high clouds move in. We call that a dirty ridge when some of that moisture in the upper levels does manage to make it over our area. Otherwise, really, this system that's spinning up here, you see that right in the top left of your screen? That area low pressure actually is not a high pressure, it is low pressure. That is going to be moving up to the northeast, and it will eventually bring a front with it through the central portions of our state. Now, that could bring a few showers come Friday into Saturday. The chances on the low end, unfortunately, but it is there for maybe the valleys to catch up in the northern counties, a couple sprinkles come Saturday morning. Now, we have a second system, Sunday to Monday, that will start approaching. Notice how that buckles in here on the left side of your screen, stronger. That might be something to watch as we go through Sunday into Monday. Right now, just some slim chances of rain in the 7 days, you'll see. And more of this, some of this really warm weather for tomorrow. Another day in the lower to mid-70s in LA. 73 on Friday, a ditto day. And then we're into the upper 60s, lower 70s on Saturday, Sunday. Finally, a cool down with that first system coming through. Okay, got some showers in there for the valleys, i.e. for Saturday, and maybe a little bit on Sunday night into Monday. Right now, the chance is low, so 2 days more dry, hot weather, and then a few clouds and some showers on Saturday, Sunday. The beach, maybe a few sprinkles as well on Saturday, and then we'll keep some morning fog for you. For most of that forecast, temperatures in the 60s. The mountains, temperatures staying in those upper 50s, lower 60s with a few sprinkles again on Saturday. That would be the first day of our two systems we're watching, and then the high desert, clouds and cooler for the weekend. Until then, 2 more days in the lower 70s. So we got a couple days of very warm weather before things change up a little bit for Saturday. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
In tonight's Hollywood Wrap, chowing down with Oscar.
Plus, our wedding bells ringing for a celebrity couple. Here's George Pinocchio with the details.
All right, here we go. It looks as though Johnny Depp and Amber Heard spent the day tying the knot. People magazine says the couple got married today at their home in Los Angeles. Previous reports said a bigger wedding was planned on Depp's private island in the Bahamas. Oscar is keeping with tradition. Last year's 4 Oscar winners for acting have been booked to return to the Dolby Theater. Kate Blanchett, Matthew McConaughey, Jared Leto, and Lupita Nyong'o will all serve as presenters at this year's ceremony. And after the Oscars, the Governor's Ball.
What is this smoke? It's like a cauldron.
We are cooking with high heat here. You know, Billy Wilder made a movie called Some Like It Hot. I like it hot, too.
Chef Wolfgang Puck is planning a big menu for the Governor's Ball. He'll serve his popular mini burgers, those classic salmon Oscars, and risotto with truffles.
All together, we're going to make 16,000 plates. So from the potato latkes to the chicken pot pie to shepherd's pie and potatoes with caviar and the Chinois lobster and adobo sole with caramelized lemon, you name it, we have it 30 different dishes.
And trying to sample them all, my wife Erin, my taster this year.
If this didn't have basil on it, you would be eating this. This is so good. These are so good. Yum. And that was the best lobster BLT I've ever had.
Also of interest, the wine from Sterling Vineyards.
We're inspired by how sumptuous, glamorous, show-stopping, and star-struck the evening is, and that's exactly how we want to create our wine. I hope you like it.
Piper Heidsieck is supplying 1,700 bottles of champagne, and Mark's Garden is back to take care of all the florals.
We have like 150 tables or so. Each centerpiece is different. Maybe 10,000 blooms, give or take 1,000.
This year with lots of purples, dark reds, and deep greens. The room's ambiance will also feature plenty of black and white.
I think the star of this ball really is the Academy Library. Let's face it, we pulled 3,000 photos and letters and telegrams and messages and behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and how can you not be inspired by that?
And everyone gets to go home with a framed photo. Oscar Sunday is just around the corner on February 22nd. We'll have all the excitement for you from the red carpet to the ceremony to the parties. It all begins at 2 o'clock on ABC7. David?
And Mrs. Pinocchio has a good gig.
Yes, she did. She said it was a great gig. One time only.
We'll see. Okay, thanks, George. Up next, a step closer toward possible net neutrality and how the FCC is hoping to prevent internet providers from creating fast and slow lanes online.
Plus, last night we showed you a thief making off with a beloved iguana. Tonight, his family is celebrating the return of Godzilla.
been added to my palate, and it's hummus.
Poor her.
A big deal in the office supply business is in the works. Staples is buying Office Depot for $6 billion. This comes just over a year after Office Depot merged with Office Max. So, if the Staples purchase goes through, the three biggest names in office supply retail will be one. A proposed merger between Staples and Office Depot 20 years ago was blocked by regulators. The companies believe it will go through this time.
A move toward net neutrality and ensuring internet providers don't block web traffic by creating fast and slow lanes. Today, the top U.S. regulator said the internet is so important to the nation, the government must ensure providers don't block or slow web traffic for American users. The Federal Communications Commission, or FCC chairman, said today his proposal assures the rights of internet users. On February 26th, the FCC will vote on the proposal to regulate internet as they would any other public utility. Major internet providers and Republican leaders oppose the regulation.
We are updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30, including a live update on a tragic accident in Redondo Beach.
Plus, a marijuana mother lode discovered in an Orange County warehouse, what led police to the professional growing operation.
Watch meet a man who volunteers his time delivering food to those less fortunate. Now, someone's stolen his delivery truck.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
That breaking news, one person reportedly killed on a Redondo Beach street. I'm David Ono. This is Eyewitness News in LA56.
I'm Rutabaga Shabazi. Bill Thomas is live over the scene in Air7 HD. Bill?
Rutabaga, this is Avenue I at Catalina in Redondo Beach. You can see a crash involving an LA DOT commuter express bus, and according to one eyewitness on the ground, a pedestrian struck and killed by that bus. The body of that pedestrian, they tell us, under the bus, which is all covered up now by the blue and yellow tarp. That eyewitness on the ground also telling us a second person may have been injured. Redondo Beach police officers, they have the entire intersection blocked off as the investigation into the cause of that wreck continues, and if you try to make it into this area, you will get turned back. Reporting live from Air7 HD, I'm Bill Thomas, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Bill. Jordan's king is back home after cutting his trip to Washington, D.C. short after the execution of a Jordanian pilot by ISIS militants. He arrived in Amman this morning as thousands gathered for funeral prayers for the murdered pilot. King Abdullah retaliated by ordering 2 al-Qaeda terrorists to be executed. One was a failed female suicide bomber that ISIS tried to get released in exchange for the pilot. The king is trying to persuade his people to support an even tougher line against ISIS.
At some point, this kind of act backfires on a group like ISIS. At the end of the day, they do need recruits. They do need to be able to continue to have influence. When they so isolate themselves through barbaric acts like this, they really undercut their own viability.
Meantime, Congress is pushing the Obama administration to quickly provide more military equipment to Jordan. The White House says it is looking for a specific request from Jordan's government.
Police find a warehouse full of marijuana in Orange County. Now a search is underway for the suspects behind the illegal operation. Police were called to the vacant warehouse in Anaheim after SoCal Edison found this, more than 2,000 pot plants growing in a maze of rooms. The plants range from 9 inches to 5 feet in height. Investigators say this was a very professional operation.
This is probably the ones that more extensive that we've seen in recent years here in the city of Santa Ana. You actually also see the lighting, the electrical, some of the mechanical equipment used for hydroponics and growing marijuana inside a closed structure. It becomes a little bit of a dangerous type of habitable type of stage. Not to mention, of course, the grower being an illegal operation here in the city of Santa Ana.
Police estimate the value of the marijuana in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The LAPD has launched an investigation into alleged inappropriate behavior by a former staff member at a charter school in Santa Clarita. That employee has since been fired. He used to work at the Albert Einstein Academy. He has not been identified by name and has not been arrested. The school principal says the man was involved with the school's athletic department and was a new hire. According to the LAPD, several minors came forward with the allegations. They say the alleged crimes happened in the Tujunga area of Los Angeles and not on campus. And 2 teachers from South Hills High School in West Covina will not face charges for allegedly having sex with students at a beach party in San Clemente. The Orange County DA is charging Melanie Lippert and Michelle Gorelli with misdemeanors for supplying alcohol to the students. Both are on administrative leave from the school. The DA says the investigation is ongoing and more charges could be filed at a later date.
A local nonprofit suffers a major blow after its delivery truck was stolen this weekend. The group, which delivers food to low-income families, says their operation has been severely hampered by the theft. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes spoke with the group's director and has the plea for the truck's return.
For more than 25 years, Andy Molina has been making sure people in his community don't go hungry. He's the executive director of the Southeast Churches Service Center in Huntington Park, a nonprofit that distributes food to some 3,000 struggling families each month.
We provide emergency food for the needy and the people that don't have enough money to sustain themselves.
The key to success here? Delivery. But getting this food to the mouths of the hungry takes the group's 16-foot cargo truck, a truck that was stolen over the weekend.
We're pretty much out of commission because we don't have a vehicle to pick up the pallets of goods and vegetables and meals.
Eyewitness Jessica Rincon tipped us off about the theft on our ABC7 Facebook page. With the truck gone, the charity has turned to Molina's personal van for deliveries, a van a fraction of the size of the cargo truck.
And with that supply line now pinched, Molina says some families are going hungry. Those 3,000 families a month that the group feeds now getting considerably less food.
If we're giving a family of 3 or 4, 8 to 10 bags of groceries, maybe they'll get half, if they're lucky.
The Southeast Churches Service Center is hoping someone will see this truck and call police. It's a 1993 white Ford box truck, California license plate number 5Y70504. This is a crime the group is quite literally hungry to solve. In Huntington Park, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And we are already hearing from one viewer who would like to help. Again, that story was brought to our attention by one of our viewers. If you have a story we should cover on the news, we'd like you to post it on social media with the hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness.
The husband of a woman found dead yesterday in the Mission Viejo home has been arrested on suspicion of murder. 74-year-old Gary Lee Parsons is being held at the Orange County Jail. His bail is $1 million. Sheriff's deputies say they got a call yesterday from Parsons indicating he had killed his wife. They found him sitting in a car outside the house and his wife dead inside. Investigators say the couple got into a physical altercation during which she suffered fatal injuries. A specific cause of death and motive have yet to be determined.
In the Aaron Hernandez murder trial, the victim's mother testified for the first time. Ursula Ward left the courtroom in tears twice recently when photos were shown of her son, Odin Lloyd's body. But today she remained stoic on the stand as the prosecutor showed her an autopsy photo. Former NFL player Hernandez is accused of murdering Lloyd, who was dating the sister of Hernandez's fiancée. The girlfriend again testified that Hernandez and Lloyd had spent time together, but were not close friends.
Paris Hilton's younger brother, Conrad Hilton, faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted of charges related to an airplane tirade this past July. The 20-year-old was in court yesterday but entered no plea. According to an affidavit, Hilton called other passengers peasants, threatened to kill several flight attendants, and tried to smoke marijuana in the bathroom. His attorney says the behavior may have been the side effect of a sleeping pill. Hilton was released on an unsecured $100,000 bond. And there's a big change happening at overcrowded California jails and prisons. The change is due to Prop 47 passed by the voters last November. And Eyewitness News Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan looks at the situation in San Bernardino County.
For years now, California has struggled with overcrowded jails and prisons. But it's becoming less of a problem these days because of the passage of Prop 47, which made a number of crimes that were felonies only misdemeanors.
I see it as a good thing.
Matt McCollum says he's a prime example. He was serving a prison sentence for petty theft, but got let out early.
They said, hey, you're leaving. I said, well, why is that? I still have a year left to do. And they said, oh, well, you're Prop 47 eligible, and what do you know, that I left the next day.
He's not alone. For example, last year in San Bernardino County jails, there were almost 6,000 inmates. A year later, there are less than 5,400.
It's very likely that that is as a result of Prop 47.
And San Bernardino County Sheriff spokesperson Cindy Bachman says that means other offenders that were serving sentences for things like car theft and burglary are actually staying behind bars longer, since they won't have to be released early because of overcrowding. Of course, the Sheriff's Department says there's a flip side to all of this. Some people that would normally be behind bars are now booked and then let right out the front door.
Crimes like possession of narcotics and possession of stolen firearms. Now they're being site released.
Bottom line, since Prop 47 passed, while some inmates are staying behind bars longer, others aren't going to jail at all. In San Bernardino, Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Senate Republicans move forward in their effort to tie Homeland Security funding to a rollback of President Obama's immigration policies. The issue is still at an impasse. Funding for Homeland Security runs out at the end of February. Many Republicans support legislation that would fund it, but at the same time undo the president's executive action, limiting deportations for millions of people here illegally. The president today hosted 6 young immigrants protected by that action.
I don't think anyone wants to shut down the Department of Homeland Security. What we want to do is want to block the president's executive actions that were beyond the law.
I will veto any legislation that got to my desk that took away the chance of these young people who grew up here and who are prepared to contribute to this country that would prevent them from doing so.
If it comes to that, the president says he's confident Republicans do not have enough votes to overturn his veto.
Godzilla, a 10-year-old green iguana, is back at home after being stolen yesterday from a pet store in Paramount. Godzilla's owners first alerted us to the theft by using the hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness, but this morning they say they got a call from a pet store in Huntington Park. The owners say at the store that they had just purchased an iguana, but after seeing reports on the news, they realized the reptile was likely Godzilla.
We drive over there, we're very anxious, very nervous. If it was, if it wasn't, we really didn't want to bring our hopes up. But as we walk in and we saw her, we just knew it was her. We double-checked her rings in her eyes, her tail, her toes. It's her, 100%.
The suspected thief was captured on surveillance cameras this morning as he sold Godzilla to the other pet shop. He has not yet been identified.
An incredible creature, too. You can see why they missed her so much.
Right, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, up next, a warning for parents of kids who love their energy drinks.
And do you know what you're missing while you're on your smartphone?
That's cool. Jonathan Novak here. It's another really warm day. Temperatures are going to stay warm before rain comes into play. 7-day forecast details ahead. You don't want to miss it.
Warning to parents about kids and energy drinks. The drinks can cause harm, especially to young hearts. A recent study found more than 40% of emergency calls related to energy drinks involve children. A pediatric cardiologist at the Cleveland Clinic who wasn't part of the study says kids should not be drinking energy drinks. The American Academy of Pediatrics prefers children consume no caffeine at all.
Well, we're all guilty of it, glued to our phones, missing those big moments in life right in front of our eyes, even when it's a whale swimming just a few feet away. Here's ABC's David Wright.
There are moments when that text or that email just can't wait, but probably not on the prow of a sailboat as a pod of humpback whales starts to breach. Moments where so busy posing, the perfect catch ends up being the one that got away. Gobbled up, in this case, by a sneaky sea lion. Instead of enjoying the here and now,
hard to do it with gloves on. Here, let me do it for you.
we're obsessed with documenting and sharing it.
There you go. Psychologists even have a name for it. Fear of missing out on what everyone's up to. Here in Times Square, I seem to be the only one not on my cell phone.
The average person checks their phone 214 times a day. We spend 3 hours, 16 minutes a day staring at those screens. We're so busy connecting, we disconnect from what's right in front of our eyes. Fear of missing out? Problem is, you might. David Wright, ABC News, New York.
That's a bad one. That's almost embarrassing right there.
It definitely would be embarrassing.
Yeah. Another picture-perfect day, but changes are on the way. Jonathan Novak has his complete forecast coming up next.
And the announcement from Snoop Dogg's talented wide receiver son. Will he be playing at his dad's favorite school, USC or UCLA?
And we're taking you inside the small family-owned eatery just named the best restaurant in all of America.
Plunging temperatures on the East Coast have frozen over the Connecticut River. This video was shot aboard the Coast Guard's ice cutter. The 65-foot ship works to break up ice-covered channels to give access to commercial vehicles. According to the Coast Guard, 75% of the heating oil used in the U.S. is transported through New England, Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. 90% of that is delivered by barges.
That is mind-boggling. That's a whole that's like a different planet.
Don't even want to think about it.
For what we're dealing with here.
I got some pictures for you.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom sent me before and after pictures of the yard back home in Framingham. First, let me show you the radar. Yeah.
Framingham,
Massachusetts. Yeah. That's right. There's probably a Framingham every state.
Maybe.
There's a Canton every state. That's where I'm originally from. Pretty much. All right. Live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. More snow expected for the Northeast. In fact, winter weather advisories around Buffalo and western portions of Massachusetts. A few more inches of snow again possible for them. For us, it is dry. We could see some rain later in the forecast. We'll get to that, but check it out. Last week, this week, Framingham. The best way to kind of see what's covered up here, some of these bushes are just toppled over now with snow. That's outside there at the house. And this is my mom enjoying. I don't know if you can make that out there. She's enjoying snow, taking a nap. That's what we do in Massachusetts. We just chill out when it snows. That's the best way. I think it's denial that it's bad, so we just sleep on it. 72 is our high today in Los Angeles. 68 normally. Another warm one. We had records in Palmdale and Lancaster. Wow. 65 in Burbank currently. 47 Wrightwood. 70 in Hemet. 69 is your current temperature in Temecula. Here's the pattern. We have an area of low pressure way up to the top of your screen there, but in the meantime, high pressure is keeping energy at bay. So as it does that, let me zoom out one more time here, you can see that. This high pressure will be our weather maker, and that low will actually stay to the north. And that's low number 1 out of 2. So as it passes to the north, it will bring most of the rain to the north of us, but it will also bring a chance of rain just to the northern counties and maybe as far south, a slight chance, as LA, Friday night into Saturday. So we've got a couple more days before that happens of more really warm weather. This is that ridge right here on the future scan. You see this arc. That's right over the area for Thursday and Friday. Now, late Friday night, that's where some of that energy starts to kind of trail through the center part of the state. And again, we could see a few sprinkles around Los Angeles. The next system we're watching will be Sunday night into Monday. And again, it's kind of the same story. Best chances will be to the north, but we can't rule out an isolated shower. So in the meantime, enjoy the lower to mid-70s in LA, lower 80s in the IE, and the 7-day forecast for LA Metro and Orange County. Another day like that on Friday before things cool down on Saturday, and Sunday looks like another warm one as well. We head into next week, same stuff. Valleys, IE, 2 days more in the upper 70s near 80, and then Saturday you'll get knocked down in those temperatures to the lower 70s. We're trying to keep that rain chance in there for at least Ventura North. We're hoping for that to happen. The beaches as well, Ventura North. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s throughout until you hit Wednesday next week. No big cool downs. The mountains are going to be in the 60s for a couple of days, finally in the 50s for the weekend forecast. And then the high desert, lower 70s for 2 days. Winds a little bit breezy for the weekend. And just some clouds on Saturday for you, and then after that, things are improving back up into the lower 70s. So at least we're not sleeping on snow.
Seriously. Sounds so refreshing, though.
It's a good memory. I used to do that.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. 2015 college football season is still 7 months away, but the future for most programs is today. National Signing Day is when the top high school seniors decide where they will play football at the next level. And for the 4th straight year, Alabama had the top class, but both UCLA and USC weren't too shabby. Jim Mora is truly changing the image of football over at Westwood as a quality handful of the top players across the country committed to UCLA on national television. Mora's bounty jumped the Bruins up from 17th to 11th in ESPN's class ranking. The biggest catch, receiver Cordell brought us his announcement that he's going to UCLA. Now, we all know his father, rapper Snoop Dogg. He has had a long allegiance to crosstown rival USC.
UCLA just presented the best platform for him that we thought as a family that, was going to look out for him when his career was over with. And that's what's important, to make sure he gets a degree and gets an education. I'm going to back him up 1,000%, so I'm throwing all my USC draws away. I'm going UCLA 100,000%.
The Bruins recruiting class looks like this. Jamabo chose UCLA over the University of Phoenix and ITT Tech. Last week, the 4th-ranked athlete in the nation joked that he narrowed his decision to those 2 schools. Roquan Smith, the number 2 outside linebacker, has yet to send his letter of intent. He's waiting to see if defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich will head to the Atlanta Falcons. And the Trojans, they had a nice day. They got their top prize, 5-star recruit Iman Marshall, the top cornerback of the country out of Long Beach Poly. And that helped USC jump up from 6th to 3rd in ESPN's class rankings. The Trojans class also features 17 4-star recruits and another 8 3-star recruits. Along with Marshall, the Trojans got commitments from the 8th-ranked defensive tackle Rasheem Green and the top inside linebacker John Houston Jr. at Gardenia's Sarah High School. He continues to pipeline their top players to USC. They also got a commit from Porter Gustin, the 7th-ranked athlete of the country. Steve Sarkisian is happy with the Trojans' first full recruiting class after sanctions.
Well, LA's got a lot of great restaurants, but the best restaurant in the entire country, apparently it's a takeout rib joint in Big Pine on the road to Mammoth. At least that's according to Yelp. Eyewitness News reporter Rob McMillan headed up to the Copper Top Barbecue to try it himself.
They've only been grilling ribs here since 2013, but for co-owner Hank Otten, it's been an interesting year and a half.
My mom, she's 92 years old. She says a little prayer for this business every day.
But not even with the power of prayer did he think this would ever happen. The website Yelp ranking the Copper Top Barbecue in Big Pine the best place to eat in the entire country.
Basically broke down crying. Had no clue that it was going to happen. It's been crazy.
Hake's son Matt is the co-owner. He says business has jumped 1,000% since the Yelp rating.
The first Sunday after the Yelp thing came out, it looked like Disneyland. We had people from the window all the way out to the street for 6 hours straight.
Now, I did buy my own meal, and honestly, it's good.
It's the meatiest ribs I've ever seen. The tri-tip was so tender. Barbecue sauce is excellent.
It's great to see small places like this get on a map. I thought I better come try it since I live here.
And you've never been here before until today.
Oh, that's so silly.
Yelp isn't saying exactly what went into their rankings, only that recent reviews were given more weight. If you're wondering about the top 7 Southern California restaurants on their list, well, here you go. TKB Bakery in Indio, Saffron and Rose Ice Cream in L.A., Big Al's Pizza in Maywood, Catch Cafe in Fountain Valley, Sessions West Coast Deli in Newport Beach, Carrara Pastries in Moore Park, and Porto's Bakery in Burbank. But for this roadside barbecue in Big Pine to be #1 in the country,
a lot of pressure now. It's grace under pressure. We just keep going.
In Big Pine, Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We'll be right back.
Starving.
Thanks for joining us on Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Law & Order SVU is up next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and by downloading our ABC7 app. Have a good night.
This is ABC7 weather.
Hey everybody, Jonathan Novak here. High pressure still in control. It is allowing a few high clouds to work their way into Southern California, but that's it. Most of the rain, all the rain really, and the moisture and the clouds are to the north. We have an area low pressure that's hanging up around the Pacific Northwest. High pressure will be our weather maker for a couple more days before we'll finally start seeing a little bit of shower activity encroach upon the area.